on this computer. Tanya, welcome.
Hey, how's it
Hey,
going?
it's going good. Welcome. Please tell people a little bit about who you are and what you do.
I'm Tanya Finder. I'm in the band Shadowland, trad, uh, new wave of British heavy metal inspired band out of New York City. I relocated to Portland a little over a year ago, so we're kind of a bi-coastal band now. And I do our artwork, and I'm the vocalist, the lyricist, and yeah, I tattoo also for a living. So metalheads like that too.
Very cool. Yeah. And you did the album art for Shadowlands.
Yeah, I did. It's actually right behind us.
Ooh, is it the original there?
Yeah, it's an
That is,
oil painting.
oh, I love
Yeah.
that. Love an oil
Yeah.
painting.
People
And
think it's airbrush, and I was like, you know what? That probably would have been a lot faster. I should probably have done that, but
honestly, I've never airbrush painted, so I don't know which one. I mean, I
it's
know
like,
it's gonna dry faster, but like aside from
yeah, it's just a
learn.
different process. But I was like, yeah, I was like, it probably could have gone faster. But I don't do things in the way that makes sense always. I do them in the way that I'm gonna do it, I guess. So
Well, it's working, so whatever. Um,
yeah.
you also did some album art for Leather Bitch.
I've done album art for bands here and there. My bread and butter is tattooing because album art isn't the most lucrative career, but yeah,
That's
and
I like Leather Bitch. I think they're a good band.
yeah, totally. Yeah, we have some stuff in the works. It's a little yeah, little. I'm not going to say any more about it, but might be coming to a city near some of you. But yeah, Leather Bitch are the homies. So
Awesome. Um, yeah, especially Pat. He's a feminist man, and I like that. So, let's jump into the questions. When did you first realize that you loved metal music and you wanted to create more of it?
um, well, I've been listening to metal, goth, and punk all kind of did it all at the same time. I feel like when I was a little kid, I've always been pretty seeking music on my own. So even from like a young age, I listened to a lot of like garage, 60s garage and rock and roll. And by the time I was probably like 12, I had already been pretty interested in punk and the metal I could get my hands on, which I feel like is a little more accessible, honestly, than like punk and goth music. Um, so yeah, it's probably around 12, 13. Got started on like, you know, the stuff you can hear on the radio, Black Sabbath.
Mm-hmm.
Um, at the time, unfortunately, I was like the age of new metal, which I wasn't really into, but I was like trying to find my way around that world. And
Mm-hmm.
I think the first record I ever bought, I was 12 or 13 at Mermaid Music in Vancouver, Washington. And I had no idea what it was. I bought it purely based on the cover. It was Grim Reaper, See You in Hell.
Oh, amazing.
So yeah, so
That
that's
was
the first
lucky.
record.
What?
Which
That was your
which is
first
why
record?
you shouldn't. Sorry.
That was your first record?
Yeah, and it's
What?
not because I was cool or anything. It was because I was judging it purely based on the cover art. So that's why I tell bands like, look, don't skimp on the cover art. Get a good artist. Sorry, my iPad was ringing. And yeah, resist this AI bullshit because it's not worthwhile. But yeah, cover
Yeah.
artwork.
Yeah, you never know. There could be a young Tanya out there about to discover like her life's calling all because you paid for good art.
Yeah,
Imagine that.
it was that and Lords of the New Church. So, and both of them are great albums, still have them. So, yeah.
That is so like lucky and awesome.
It was
Um,
$8
wow.
too. Yeah.
Those were the days.
Those were the
Um,
days.
there's a couple of like record stores in Gothenburg that still have like pretty good prices like that. I don't know if you can like get Grim Reaper there for $8, but
Yeah.
well,
Gothenburg's a cool city.
speaking of vinyl records, if you could own any three from history, what would they be?
Well, the thing is, I'm not really a record nerd in the sense that like I'm down with a repress. So I feel like most records that I really love, I can own. Like it's not inaccessible to me. Um, but I feel like I don't know. The question is making me feel like it's more about what record I could have versus like what my top three records are.
You can
So
answer it any way you want. Any way you want to.
yeah, that's how I interpreted it because
Okay.
specifically because of vinyl. So I feel like uh it would be something specific to like I don't know the kind of stuff that's not getting repressed. Like a lot of new wave of British heavy metal bands had albums that were they had like one-offs and EPs, and some of them didn't even make it to like a full LP. So I might go for something like do you know the band Dust?
No?
Uh, Dust Heart Attack is something I'd like to have, and that's like in the price range that is I'm not willing to pay for records,
Okay.
like
Yeah,
over $100. Yeah, so that would be one, just because it's not something that is I've seen repressed. And it's got some great Frazetta art on the cover, I believe. I think it's
yeah.
actually the same artwork that it's on Michael Moorcock's Silver Warriors. So that's a good
Oh,
one. And
okay.
then yeah, maybe
Drawn to
some
the art again.
yeah, I mean, I feel like art, like when it comes to heavy metal, it's, I mean, they're kind of, it's inseparable. So, and
Great to
I
hear
feel
that.
like, yeah, I feel like since we're talking about vinyl, we're in the age of, uh, streaming and MP3s. So I, I feel like the point of a record is not to just have the music, but you have the art, you have the band, you have the lyrics. It's like a full
Mhm.
package.
Yeah.
Um, And then another one would be Diamond Head Borrowed Time, because it's one of my favorite albums, but also it's a gatefold and it's got fabulous artwork as well. It's got
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Okay,
And I
good.
mean, if you're going to go big, might as well have a gatefold record.
Yeah.
Um, that
I
one
hope.
is accessible, but I have a copy in front of me, but I actually borrowed it. It's not mine. So if if you can't have it yourself, I recommend just stealing someone else's.
It's always a backup option. Um,
Yeah.
all right. And what's the last one?
I'm gonna go with a weird one. Bleak House. It's another new wave of British heavy metal band that I chose purely because it's another one I'm not willing to buy, and it's hard to find. It's just an EP. The Rainbow Warriors EP. So that
Okay.
one would be fun. Just
All right.
because I feel like most of the records I really love, I mean, like Judas Priest records are luckily they're plentiful. So
Sure
I
are.
can't,
Might even call them common. So for the people who are big fans of Tanya, now you know what to send her. If you're trying to woo her into coming to your city and playing a show, bait her with some special vinyl.
yeah. And
So
they're still under $300. So,
yeah, come on. Yeah, it's only cheap record, not even expensive. Um, okay, so if your music were a movie soundtrack, what would the movie be about?
well, we did do a music video for the song Lamia. Uh, and so, I mean, I feel like that is probably pretty close to the vibe of the movie. Uh, because I mean, there's a storyline there. It's me killing my bandmates
Hmm.
in a cemetery.
Hmm.
Very classy
Hmm.
production. Uh, very lo-fi. The budget was basically just fake blood. Um, and our friend Frank, who he films all the shows at St. Vitus that you might find on the internet. Um, Frank's behind those. So yeah, I mean, it's like a lady stalking around, a mean lady stalking around a cemetery, killing off musicians one by one in creative ways.
So
Yeah,
cathartic.
yeah. So maybe something like that. I mean, a lot of our the lyrics I write are kind of inspired by like weird fiction. The the beginning of our record is actually from a movie. It's from Ligeia with Vincent Price and Elizabeth Shepard. So it would definitely be a pretty corny, uh, old school, horror movie,
Oh, girl,
gothic,
you just
cemetery.
this
Yeah.
is like a serenade right now. I love Vincent Price. Like I cannot stop watching 1970s like weird sci-fi horror movies.
Hmm.
Like I have like an addiction.
Yeah.
It's like 2 movies a day. It's out of control. And actually, speaking of your lyrics, I
Hmm.
really like Walking in the Shadows. I think it's like a really cool mashup of like Wuthering Heights and One Way or Another.
Hmm.
I love that. It's a girl anthem.
Yeah, it's about being like a horny vampire. So
Yes.
that's probably a
Good.
lot of our songs tend to be about being a horny like villain. So
I
yeah.
like it. I needed that soundtrack for my personal life. So thank you for those songs.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
my pleasure.
and oh, also really great guitar work and singing on Warhound in particular.
Thank you. Yeah. Shout out to Jeff and Al, our guitarists.
You telling me it's not you?
I just do the vocals. Yeah, I'm not up to snuff on guitar. Like they uh yeah, the I'm not dorky enough to sit there and but I mean, I do appreciate like I think the guitarists in Shadowland are pretty excellent. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
totally. Shadowland is great. So looking back on your life, what was a big decision you made that turned out to be a great choice?
Um Looking back on a life of, degeneracy and poor decision making, I got to say I don't
Not
really have many.
okay.
I feel like most of my bad decisions added up to kind of good ones. I've been a bit of a scumbag my whole life. Like a punk kid, anarchist, whatever. And did everything wrong. And at the end of the day, I feel like things have worked out for me pretty well. I don't know if there's one big decision that was like life changing for me, but I mean, joining Shadowland was one of them.
Yeah.
I hadn't been in a band for a few years. I'd gotten a scholarship to go to SBA in New York for illustration, and I was really focused on that. And yeah, I really missed playing music the whole time. And I had specifically wanted to be in like a new wave of trad heavy metal bands. Probably since I've heard my first Tank record. I was working in a record shop when I was like 17 or 18.
Hmm.
And I was like, wow, this is the kind of music I want to play next. I was in a goth band at the time.
Oh,
And yeah, I just like heard through the grapevine they were looking for a singer, which is funny because their old band, I had seen them and I was like, wow, I really want to sing for that band. They had a singer at the time.
hmm.
So yeah, so that was it all worked out really great because it's definitely the most fun musical experience I've ever had.
There is this other band where the singer heard the band with their old singer and said, I should sing for that band. And that was Iron Maiden. So you're a lot like Bruce Dickinson, really. Oh,
A
you're
lot.
frozen.
Oh, sorry, I lost you for a sec. Yeah, I'd fancy
Yeah,
myself, me and Bruce Dickinson.
rather. Yeah.
Halford's my guy, but we appreciate Bruce too.
You know, um they're not very tall, those two. Little tiny guys, powerful
An
voices.
actor's height, yeah.
Yeah.
Or Dio too, a lot of
All too
good
small.
little singers.
I always say that, but it's not fair because there are good tall singers too. But I always say that the best heavy metal singers are 5'2". So I don't
I
know.
mean, I'm 5'7", but I feel like I'm probably like, have, I feel like my vocal cords are probably size wise not far off from Dio. So maybe that
You
is
know,
helpful. I don't know.
it's a feminine advantage, really. So what is your favorite piece of gear or stage wear that you own?
Um, my stage, I mean, if I had my druthers, I'd have a lot more and a lot more custom stuff. I'm
You
kind
have
of,
what?
I kind of am just like winging it, just putting random stuff together, trying to just be as over the top as I can manage. But I have I have a metal bra made by her name's Emily Blay, and she does chains of metal. So
Mm-hmm.
the metal bra is always a hit. It's a classic.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jeff, our guitarist, makes leather gear for everybody in the band. He's Filth Hound leather, if anybody needs some leather gear. So love everything he makes me. Yeah, I have like I like a good puffy shirt.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of
Very
go for
deep.
like a metal bra and a puffy shirt, and you're good to go.
Excellent standards, really.
Yeah.
Aspirational.
Some really
Um,
tight pants. Yeah.
yeah. And it's all adding up to like a beautiful story, just like the degeneracy, the metal bra, like all coming together in a really nice way. Um, so you actually have fan mail.
Oh, really?
Yes, you do. And so
Wow.
I'm going to start with a very annoying man.
Do I know him? I
Yeah,
know a lot of
yeah, I
those.
think that you know him. And I told him that when I asked you this question, I was going to make it as embarrassing for him as possible. So,
Okay. Off to a good start.
um, but I'm gonna actually give him a little grace and just try to make it sound more normal than it does. But why can't Keith be the full-time kazoo player in the band? And when are they going to get their glockenspiel player? Please and thank you. She's been dodging me hard about it lately.
I have not been dodging anyone hard. First of all, I talked to Keith today. Uh, I sent him a really good pun actually, and have never heard back. Didn't even get that acknowledged, which I didn't really appreciate, Keith. But uh, yeah, when the thing is, all right. So I did find a kazoo, an electric kazoo. It's $77. So if he wants to spring for it, he can be a guest percussionist on the next record.
Yeah, go buy the kazoo, Keith.
Yeah.
God.
So that actually, if you want to know, so my band, we had to look for a new drummer a few months ago, and while they made the flyer, they made another flyer that was pretty brilliant. I wish I had it here in front of me, but it's they're looking for a glockenspiel wizard to play in a hard sci-fi prog rock hard sci-fi themed prog rock band with influences such as music from The Elder by Kiss.
Mhm.
Uh, so I actually got a call. They put my number on it. I got a call or I got a text, and I spent a few days just Glock talk, talking Glockenspiel, talking, just chit chatting away with this person. And it was a fun conversation.
You know, I was not sure if it was a real query, and then you described it now, and I still wasn't sure if it was a real query. But
Well,
it is.
it is, yeah. Well, I got the
Yeah.
text, and whenever I get a wrong text, I just roll with it immediately because I don't know, I'm an annoying person. But then I realized I was like, I thought it was just a wrong text, but I was really intrigued about the Glockenspiel thing, and then I had them send me the flyer, and I saw my number at the bottom of it. I actually have it here. I have the screenshot they sent me. I don't want to take up too much time on this, but it was just suffice it to say, it was like a pretty brilliant prank, and I took it too far. I take things too far, I talked to this person for a couple days. They were a really good sport about it. When you know, because they did tell me at the very end, they were like, I'm not mad, but I would have played cowbell for you, because they did it. They weren't actually a glockenspiel player. But yeah, here it is. Help push us closer to the edge. Established hard sci-fi prog rock quartet seeks glockenspiel wizard. D&D players welcome, but no DMs. We got one. No weekend warriors. Wizard does not imply talent. Awaiting response with arms wide open. Influenced by music from the Elder, Kansas, and Cactus. Yeah.
Well, next up, a fan would like to know if you could talk about how you got started with your tour with Exciter.
That was, well, I think it was Tower. Yeah, a Tower was Exciter was, you know, they were touring with multiple bands across the states, and they needed another supporting band, and Tower recommended us. So yeah,
Do you
that happened.
share the bassist as your guitarist from Tower?
Yeah, Jeff grudgingly played bass for them for maybe like a year and change. Him and Danzo are old buddies, old friends, New York boys. I don't even, probably since middle school or high school. So yeah, he just jumped in, and he did whine about it incessantly. Not about Tower, but just about having to play bass, because he's a real guitar boy through and through.
Guitar boy. Yeah.
He had fun though. I could tell he was having fun. So
I can tell from how you're describing it. There's like a kind of like a romance between Tower and Shadowland, because like Keith obviously wants to be your kazoo player very badly.
Well, we stole Keith actually.
Oh,
so that we had an
Are we having an announcement? Is that what's happening right now?
No, okay, so we lost a drummer, as one does in, like, it's like a Spinal Tap-esque event. And we were high and dry. We had to miss out on the whole like second half of our tour, and Keith learned our set in like hours, so we could go play our last show of tour, and go up to Worcester and play Stormbringer. So Keith really saved our ass. But yeah, I wouldn't say there's a romance there though, because it's like siblings. They're like,
Yeah. Well, once you've got Keith in your band, it's always going to be that energy.
Yeah, and he can't stay away. So yeah, but there is a strong romance within Shadowland between the guitar section, I will say.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let's see. Okay, and then your last piece of fan mail is: do you have any advice? This comes from an upcoming female fronted band that very much admires you. Do you have any advice on up and coming band getting their music heard or booking shows? Which is a very sweet question.
Ooh. What was the first part of the question? Up and coming band.
Getting their music heard or booking shows.
Honestly, that's the part that I'm really bad at. Like all the business stuff. Yeah, it's sort of nebulous. I don't know. We're not really good at that. I'd say that's our weak point in Shadowland, is like business and booking. But I'd say first of all, just focus on making the music as good as you can make it, and then making your performance as good as you can make it. Be really well practiced, and especially if you're playing heavy metal, I don't know, what I've noticed is I feel like a lot of bands that are musically really good, sometimes people are like afraid of looking silly a little bit. And I feel like if you're going to play this type of heavy metal, you just got to go balls to the wall all the time. Be big, have a lot of fun on stage, and don't be afraid to look silly, because it's kind of silly music, to be honest. It's like, it's cartoonish.
Yeah.
And I feel like people will notice your energy. People will notice if you're having fun on stage. Your audience will have fun. And that word of mouth, just getting people to come to your shows, getting people to notice you, that will that will help you with the next steps of like booking more shows, getting asked to do things, and having people want to book your band. And if finding management, if that's something, the route that you're going, finding a booker if that's the route you're going. Yeah.
Very helpful answer. Thank you for answering your fan mail. I hope that all
Yeah.
the rock goddesses will get fan mail. You're just the first one to get it on.
Really? I'm actually, it just gave me chills. That's so sweet. I don't know. That's really wonderful.
Happy to connect people. So, do you have any new announcements for us?
I wish I had more like new news. It's been a while coming. Our next record, it's been a while since the first one came out. We've been kind of whittling away at stuff. But things are in motion, so keep your ears peeled for the next album. We do have some more touring to do. Nothing I can announce yet, but we are still active. We're still writing and playing music. I know that like since I moved pretty far away, people weren't sure if we were still together, but yeah, we still got stuff coming, and I'm excited about it. Yeah.
That comes up on this series a lot. Um, like distance for members of bands. It seems that for female fronted bands, very often, well, not so much in the Pacific Northwest, which is just like where all the feminist men in America live, but everywhere else is a little bit more sexist. And so it is like the Pacific Northwest is the best place in the world for a woman to live, in my opinion. But so anyway, a lot of the bands that have been on this channel have had long distance members. So
okay,
you are actually not an outlier at all. I would say 90% of the bands have long distance members.
Yeah, I know a lot of bands who do. I feel like it's just really common with metal for some reason. But I will say, I don't know, there's good people all around. My experience living in Portland is that there's as much bad, there's much like dickheads and as much really cool, feminists and just, people with solidarity as anywhere else. But, you always just have to look for the people who are going to support you. Yeah.
It was a good attitude.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was going to say about long distance members. Oh yeah, metal. So many niches. So if you want to make pirate metal, like there's probably like 20 people that want to make pirate metal with you, so you're going to be in a long distance band. And then when you also factor in like a female fronted pirate metal band, now you're just like taking it to another niche. So I think it's like super normal.
Yeah. I mean, I would say like, I don't know, I've been playing in bands since I was like 16, and I wouldn't say that like, I don't think that like we weren't looking, I don't think my band was looking for like a man or a woman. I think they were just looking for the right fit. But we did use our situation may be a little different in that we did live all together up until recently, and then I just kind of, it'd been I won't go into it, but I got kind of a wild hair up my ass, and I got, there were other factors that made me feel like it was a good time to move back to the West Coast, and yeah, we're making it work. So, but I think it is kind of a small world, especially in like trad heavy metal.
Oh yeah. Also Mean Mistreater. Hi to you.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'm stoked. Yeah, stoked that their new record came out. Yeah, that's not, I don't want to say new because I don't know how long they've been playing, but like they, it kind of like, you kind of have to get that new first LP out, and yeah, awesome. Hi to Mean Mistreater back. Yeah.
Just speaking of, small worlds and everything.
Yeah, totally.
Tell everybody where they can listen to your music and how they can follow what you do.
Cool. So Shadowland, we have a Bandcamp, shadowlandnyc.bandcamp. We're also Shadowland NYC on Instagram. And we have a Facebook too, which our label has told us we should pay more attention to Facebook because that's Europeans use Facebook more. But yeah, you can find us there. Honestly, I wouldn't say it's as up to date as Instagram, but we're trying. And for me, I have a website, tanyafinder.com, that I try to keep updated. Where it's mostly for my tattoo portfolios and booking information and illustration. And then my Instagram is, I don't know why it's this. I just made this up like 8 years ago.
Well, now you're gonna stick to it, whatever it is. It's getting stuck now.
It's on my business card. So yeah, it's a airsats_existence. But if you type in Tanya Finder, it should pop up. So
Very
mostly
good.
tattoos, but also a good mixture of just whatever I feel like posting at the time. So
Yeah, and the labels probably, well, they're right. Everybody in Europe, yeah, they're using Facebook.
yeah, I don't know. I'm not even really good. I mean, as a tattooer, like I do need to be up to date with my social media, and
It's so
I'm not.
laborious. It's so
Yeah,
work.
that's the least fun part of being in a band is like
Or being an artist, or being an author,
yeah.
or like anything. Everything has to be on a online platform, and it can't even just be your own website. It has to be a social platform.
Hmm.
And then you have to like spread it out in case you get deplatformed from who knows what, or the whole thing just breaks down or whatever. Oh,
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that I feel like metal is a little weird in the sense that like coming from like punk bands and goth bands, it where it's pretty DIY. I feel like there's something strange about metal where the amount of DIY is pretty much the same. And the amount of money that you're bringing in with it is pretty much the same, which is to say, not that much, hopefully enough to help you keep making music. But I feel like the industry itself, or like the world of metal, expects you to be operating sort of like it's the 1980s, where you have a manager and you have, we have these sort of professionalized routes of doing things. And professionally doing promo and yeah, so I feel like sometimes that part of it is it's more work than we like doing on that end of things, but
yeah,
yeah.
totally. Yeah, yeah. It's really funny and weird because it's like you will make more profit if you handle the sales directly, and
Mhm.
but then you also will be doing work and you'll have a big learning curve, and um you also have to like stay invested in staying up to date on like how to do that well. And it's like specialize and lose money, or generalize and work harder. So
Yeah, yeah, shout out to Al, our guitarist, who really did all the heavy lifting for the admin work for the band and shipping records and all that good stuff for the last like 5 years. Yeah, really, it's a lot of work, and having those people in the band who are willing to do that stuff is a huge part of it, and often maybe underappreciated part of being, doing the whole band thing. Also, our label, No Remorse, they're European and they don't have a US distro. So, yeah, so we're the guys that have to sell our records, which are currently sold out, but won't be sold out forever. So,
ooh,
yeah.
there's an announcement. Okay, so now it's time for a game. And
Okay.
I will hold up 2 pairs of vinyl records, and you will choose one, and you will tell us why you chose the one you chose. Okay. Oh, I think I did this all messy. All right, sorry. Ugh.
Okay. Ooh. Oh, man. That's a tough one.
I knew it was going to be hard because, walking in shadows is like.
I actually really do love Kate Bush. She's such a weird person. I love Blondie too, but I will say I think my favorite Blondie is probably Parallel Lines. I like the early stuff a lot. Um, but that Kate Bush music video for Babushka, where she's wearing the metal bra, and you know, that one, it's pretty iconic. I mean, I don't know, both of them.
Okay, you can pick both. That's fine.
Yeah, either one. It depends on the day.
Okay.
But definitely for the music video, I'd go with Kate Bush. Because she actually, the whole idea behind that was started from it was a San Julian illustration, I think, or no, it was oh my god, a famous fantasy illustrator who I know really well, and Boris Vallejo. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's very up my alley. Yeah.
And the sequence in that video where she's like, "Ooh, what is she doing? Like a lap dance on that stand-up bass?" I don't know, but it is erotic.
I don't even remember that part. I just remember the part where she's just waving a sword around, which
Oh
you
yeah, she
know,
pulls
it's
out this like ribbon, this big ribbon in her hair, and
oh,
one
you're
tied
right.
on her butt, and then she's like in a cat suit, and she's like, and then da 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 da.
She's really one of the most pure original artists out there. I feel like, you know, good art is not made in a vacuum. You know, everybody's kind of building off other stuff. Not to say that it's like derivative, but especially with metal. I mean, sometimes we're just blatantly ripping off, you know, stuff that we like. But and I feel like people who try to be too original, oftentimes that's like kind of the worst stuff, because you need, you know, you need to learn from your predecessors and take influences. I feel like Kate Bush is somebody who is as close to just like a weird, just like getting cosmic inspiration as anyone, because I don't even know what she's pulling from. She just pulls from whatever she sees around her. Just a true weirdo, which I appreciate.
Yeah, she grew up in a rural area with many siblings, and everyone was a musician. And she
Mm-hmm.
got a grant for mime school, and that is how she developed her stage antics as
Cool.
mime.
I
Yeah,
know that she did a lot of modern dance lessons, but I didn't know that she had like a scholarship for. Yeah, cool.
that's kind of what's fun about this game is we always end up going into like the details and backstories of the women that came before us, their foremothers. So Tina or Tammy.
Ooh, wow, man, both great choices. I mean, Tina's just got the star power that I really appreciate. I mean, just her presence as a person is just, you know, ferocious, and yeah, another just an icon, really. I
So
mean, her Mad Max outfit is just, you know, it's
look at
just burned in my brain.
look at all these men just loving Tina.
They should be so lucky, right? We
Yeah,
all love Tina.
we
Yeah,
all.
just sheer force of like personality. I don't know. I love Tina Turner.
Yeah, really like unstoppable lady.
Yeah,
Good hair. Good hair.
amazing hair. Yeah,
She made all her
honestly,
own wigs. She crafted all
really.
her own wigs. Yep, that's why she had such like distinctive hair because nobody else made the wigs. There was no one
Yeah,
else to get them. Okay, so we had Tina and probably Kate Bush. I feel like you kind of picked Kate Bush on the first round. Okay,
I guess so. Yeah.
Patti Smith or Stevie Nicks. It's
Hmm.
the Bird album covers.
I gotta say, I feel kind of bad because I'm not really as big of a Stevie Nicks or a Patti Smith fan as people think I'm gonna be. Like, I think they're both really cool people, but I've never really had a moment with either of them. Just their, yeah, as musicians.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I really liked Patti Smith's. She does like a little guest vocal spot on one of my favorite BOC songs. Uh, I don't know. I might have to go with Stevie just because, like, yeah, musically, you know, I appreciate. Yeah, like I like, you know, as a vocalist, I really appreciate Stevie Nicks, and as a songwriter too. Yeah,
Yeah, two very original songwriters.
yeah, definitely.
All right. Now a little heavier.
Ooh, well, we covered Coven, so I probably have to go with that.
What did you cover?
Uh, Wicked Woman, and I would love to to record that again and put it on something on vinyl. But I don't know, it probably won't happen. But yeah, we do a cover of Wicked Woman on our first self-released EP that we did. That was basically just, I say EP, but it was released on cassette only. And I feel like that was, at the time when we released that, that was like people's favorite thing. They were really stoked because I don't know. I mean, it just Coven's like it's a little pre-metal, but it just works so well to like beef it up and make it heavier. So
So
yeah,
we're gonna do Coven then for that round.
yeah. And I saw them recently. My buddy was playing guitar for them, and I saw them with Lucifer, which is one of my favorite current bands, and it was just such a good show. And it was such a fun performance. Yeah, so I had a great time.
Yeah, I got to catch that tour when it came to Philadelphia. I assume that your friend that was playing guitar for Coven is also the guitarist for Crossed Hearts.
I'm not sure if he might be in Crossed Hearts. He's in a lot of bands. I know him from Savage Master, and yeah, sorry I can't keep up with everybody's but
small world, it's like you said.
it is so small.
Yeah, when I went to the show, I wore this jacket that I painted Jinx's face on the back of.
Wow, cool.
He signed it for me. I was like, yes. So
yeah.
Oh, I love her so much. I love her.
Yeah, it was so much fun. It was just a very fun, like I just if I'm going out to see live music, and as somebody who's been like going to shows since I was like 13 or 14, and I go to like industrial shows and metal shows, and I grew up in punk, like playing anarcho punk, and I just feel like I just really appreciate people who put on a show and have fun doing it.
Yeah.
And yeah, they just put on a great show, both bands. So much fun to just, I don't know, watch people enjoy themselves playing music.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Because why else do it?
Jinx was just fantastic, and then like whoever was doing merch for that tour, like told me to go backstage, and like came out and got me and brought me backstage. So I did get to like say hi to Johanna and have a picture with her, but I didn't know why I was there. And then he was like, "You're on the guest list for the New York show," and I was like, "Can't do that. I have a flight tomorrow." But
well,
cool.
it's the perks of being a cool guy, Yeah.
I don't know how I end up in half of the situations I'm in. But anyway, Barbara Streisand or Marianne Faithfull.
Again, I'm not saying like I'm not like super in deep to both of these artists in the way that I'm like, just like consuming albums over and over. I would say as a person, definitely going with Marianne Faithfull. 100
200%
as a person, going with Marianne Faithfull. I don't know, she's it just seems like a nice person. She's got a weird history. I appreciate her, especially her later weird, her voice after she'd been using drugs for a long time.
Yeah, she had a little Hannah Montana transformation there.
Yeah, but I will say, as a vocalist, Barbara Streisand is pretty fantastic. Like, she's a pretty incredible vocalist. So,
well, we gotta talk about this album cover, okay? What is she wearing?
Yeah, it's like those old like 1950s school folders, where they're all playing tennis, and I don't know if you've seen those, but
oh man,
yeah,
she's got like I guess they're shorts, but they look like tighty whities, and there's
those are underwear. I think those are undies, but anything can be pants if you decide it's pants. But
a dress can be a shirt, and so tighty whities can be shorts. Honestly, bring us the tighty whitey shorts this summer. All right. And
Yeah, I feel like that's not really like the Barbara Streisand I don't know, that comes to mind, as like this sort of like uh diva, like New York City, like Broadway diva. Uh,
well, it doesn't stop there.
but you know what? I mean, marketing, yeah, they've always kind of the same
Sorry,
idea.
just it's just it's just amazing. I
I've
love
never
it.
seen that album cover actually before, so that's funny. Something new for me.
The expression.
The perm too. Yeah, it that was a choice. That was definitely a record label decision right there.
I mean, she's got the sequence of poses where she's like gonna be taken off in flight. Anyway, I love Barbara Streisand in her many roles and many transformations. But I gotta say
Yeah.
that that album photography is unique.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, it's one of those things where it's like, that's why it's nice to have a little control over your design, because yeah, record labels a lot of the time just have their own, they can kind of decide exactly what's going down. And I feel like that's probably what happened there, is
Yeah.
they're,
They were
uh,
like, listen, it's kind of like a 70s pop star thing. It's sort of softly pornographic. You're like a teenage girl in a gym class and you think you're Superman.
oh yeah, that's definitely some due to the label. They're like, oh, how are we gonna sell this?
How much
Wow,
cocaine were they doing when they thought that was a good idea?
what if she looked like a little girl, but like a sexy little girl? It's just like, some things never change.
Here, you can borrow my underwear.
Yeah, that's really funny.
Anyway. Um, yeah, but we went with Marianne Faithful for the last round. So anyway,
Yeah,
thank you for coming on the show. Thanks for
yeah,
playing the game and answering your fan mail.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
please let me know if you have anything to announce in the future and you want to come back on and do another episode.
Cool. Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Bye.
Bye bye.